Yes, what's happening, people? And welcome back to GavGoesIn. So, guys, this one, obviously for the Nxt Gen 50, this again was someone, that wasn't in my original list. And I have to big up one of the, I can't remember who it was, but someone in my chat, my live chat on my channel, actually brought the attention to me of this player because I didn't really see much of this player. But you know what? I've watched probably about 4 or 5 clips of him, good like 5-10 minute clips. And I have to say, I think this player here, I think there's going to be a lot of teams missing the trick, man, if they don't go and sign this player, and from what I've seen of him, he does look special, he looks very good. And that's Lamine Camara of Monaco, Senegalese international, 21 years of age, made his debut at 20 as well for Monaco. And for me, you know what? The more that I see of him, the more I think, especially at my club, Man United, they need a player like that in midfield. Someone that can take the ball under pressure, is press resistant, has good passing, short and long. And this guy ticks all the boxes, from what I'm watching. And I think he's been linked to the likes of Liverpool and Tottenham. I don't expect both. I don't expect either club to firm up their interests, because I think they have other positions of priority that they might look at. But for me, I think Man United, in terms of midfielders they're looking for, I look at the likes of Adam Wharton, who is someone, that Man United need to go and get. But for the price, it's looking like a steep one. But I look at Lamine Camara, and I think he can do a very similar job. Not to mention as well, he has physicality to his game. So I'm just hoping United have got tabs on this player, because I think from what I've seen, he's a first team player at Monaco, and from what I've seen, he looks very good, looks very, very good. And I think if you put him into this Man United team now to do that job, I think Man United would have, got a steal here, because I think he's not going to cost too much money. I think you're probably looking at, 30-40 million to get him, which is significantly less than what you'd pay for other midfielders. But from what I've seen, yeah, he does look good, man. 41 appearances in all competitions for Monaco. 9 goals and assists combined, which is decent, to be fair. He's got 29 caps for Senegal as well, with a return of 6 goals. So again, he's a player that's that's got some experience. And again, I think the comparisons that I would give Lamine Camara, he reminds me a mix of Moises Caicedo and Aurelien Tchouameni. Obviously, Tchouameni already being at Monaco before. But I look at his game in terms of his tenacity, his composure on the ball. And he reminds me of a mix between, as I say, Caicedo and Tchouameni. So I think he's someone that many teams are sleeping on. And again, he has been linked to Liverpool and Tottenham. But I don't know if there's any other interest in him. And I think, when you look at midfielders in the game right now, there's not really too many midfielders that are available and for a good price, And I think someone like him, I think, you could get him for 30 to 40 million, for sure. And I'm just hoping United are having a look at him, because United desperately need, they desperately need a midfielder of that profile. And whether they're looking at him or not, I'm not too sure. I remember Ollie saying, they have scouts all over the globe, and I'm hoping they're scouting this player, because I haven't seen no talk about him. A lot of the talk for midfield has been about Ederson, who's looking like he's on his way to Al Hilal. Carlos Baleba, who's someone that I think United have to sign, left-footed as well. Adam Wharton, another one, but he will cost a lot of money. And for me, I think Lamine Camara should be in that list as well. So we'll have to wait and see, man. But as I said, he's a free kick expert as well, or specialist, should I say. Good in the tackle, physicality as well. Versatile. He can play as a 6 and an 8. So yeah, he's someone, man, that needs to be looked at. And again, he's only 21 years of age. So, you're going to get the best part of 10 years out of him if you snap him up now. So, obviously, providing you don't get no injuries. But, again, for me, he's someone that United need to be having their focus on. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the likes of I wouldn't say Chelsea because they're stacked. You know, again, he's been linked to Liverpool and Tottenham. If I'm looking in the Premier League, you know, I know City lost. Well, I know City chose to get rid of Romeo Lavia. You know, he could be someone that they might look at as a Lavia replacement in terms of bringing someone through that young. Because obviously Rodri, you know, they brought in Nico Gonzalez, but they haven't got that type of profile in that midfield. I know they've got Reinders coming in, who's a very good player. But in terms of, you know, slightly more defensive, I would say, you know, Camara could be a Man City target in the future, you know, only at 21 years of age as well. Again, can play as a 6 and an 8. Who else? Newcastle, you know, I know they've got their midfield set already, you know, with the Joel Lintons, Bruno Guimaraes and Samuel Tonali. But having a Camara in there as well, you know, that could be a smart piece of business. If I'm looking abroad, you know, I think he can play for Bayern Munich. You know, even if we're looking closer to home in France, you'd think France won't go for him because, again, their midfield three is the best combination in Europe right now. But he could play for them, in my opinion. Barca Madrid, as we know, I think he's capable of playing for them. But, you know, Barca obviously are bringing through their youngsters. You know, you've got the midfield of Pedri, Gavi, Frankie de Jong, Dani Olmo can play in the 10. They've got the youngsters in Marc Bernal and Casado. So you'd think they wouldn't go for him because they would probably want to bring through their own. Real Madrid, as we know, you know, they've got Camavinga, Tchouameni, two players that are not really getting game time. Valverde, obviously Bellingham in there as well. You know, they could do with him, but again, it's unlikely that they'll go for him. And obviously, again, they're looking to sign Mastan Tuano and Azadine Uzani. So you'd think that they wouldn't be interested in him, but I think they should be taking a closer look at him because he's someone that I do believe, you know, with his attributes, you know, could suit most teams, you know, and I'm hoping one is Man United. But as I said, there's been no noise about it at the moment, so we'll have to wait and see, guys. But yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you think this player has real potential. You know, let me know how much. Let me know what you think about his cost as well, because I reckon 30 to 40 million sterling. I think that might be. And yeah, let me know if you think he's good or if you've seen any clips of him. Because again, big up to I can't remember if it was one of my mods or someone in the chat that notified me to his potential. And as I said, I've seen about 4 to 5 clips of him, and to be honest with you, he does look special. To be fair, he looks good, you know, and he could be still at the right price. So, but yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Smash that like button, subscribe to my channel at GavGoesIn, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.